Hello and welcome to the State of Security for May 2015. So last month we talked about the energy sector and a little bit about the concerns, threats, etc. that was evolving. This month we're going to talk about the high-tech industry. Kind of an ambiguous industry which a lot of different organizations fall under, but really kind of software as a service, cloud providers, service-oriented providers such as Spotify, Netflix, and then your traditional that you would expect, Amazon, etc. So we're going to be talking about the dynamics of that industry, some of the emerging trends and things to look for in 2015 to 2016. So high tech, as it's been deemed by a number of different industry analysts, what does that mean? Well, as we kind of talked about, it's a variety of different industries, but really when you look at it, the high tech industry is providing a service, a product, software to organizations or to consumers. So it's a really kind of a hybrid industry that has B2C as well as B2B. And what makes this interesting is if you look at the data that's hosted or stored or processed on either one, it changes dramatically. So from a B2C perspective, most of these providers don't have a lot of intellectual data from the consumer, sensitive social security numbers, financial, etc. They have credit card information, email addresses, maybe a few other little tidbits. So not that big on the B2C side. And what you're finding from consumers is the consumer confidence for security is pretty low. That doesn't have to be high because they're not holding as much data. Also, the consumers love when high technology companies roll out new apps, new data, cloud, etc., and they run to it. And they assume some level of risk based on, obviously, the data they're holding. On the B2B, it's completely different. Most of the B2B are hosting or having critical information run through these applications or hosted at these applications or being serviced by. And so on that side of the house, technology companies have to make sure they have a lot of security in place. And so when you look at this industry, you look at both consumers are trying to serve different products, having different levels of expectations on security. Creates a major challenge for the high-tech industry to move forward to serve both bases. Now, we saw this with Netflix. Netflix is kind of a hybrid, is it? Maybe, retail service provider on a consumer base. But over the years, they developed a product called FIDO. And FIDO is just basically a SEM solution, log management consolidation, and they developed it in-house and they rolled it out. Now it's an open source. So is Netflix kind of converging from a consumer base to more of a business B2B orientation in this? And if so, what is the long-term strategy for Netflix? Are they looking to move into more of the B2B, similar to an Amazon, or are they going to stay pretty centric into their B2C environment? Either way, interesting things for the high technology companies coming out. The way that consumers buy from technology companies is absolutely unbelievable in different channels. You have Netflix on PlayStation, Xbox, you have it on an app, you have it on your mobile device, you have it on a browser. And so each one of these, from a channel perspective, creates a huge security problem for Netflix potentially, as they're starting to try to converge this omni-channel for consumers, one brand, multiple ways to get in. So unique to other industries in that regard. So moving forward in 2015 and 16, we're going to see technology companies still embracing this snap-on model of technology, bringing it all together, but trying to do it in a way to solve the B2B as well as the B2C. Major challenges. It's going to be real tough to do in the future. So high technology companies, one of the things that we look at is they rarely develop these big architecture or system platforms anymore. Most of the time they're developing a very focused portion of their application, and then they're snapping on different components. And with the snap-on, it allows them to be way quicker to market, first mover in a lot of perspectives, but it also allows them to bring in and have to be reliant on other providers for their solution to work. So if you just look at authentication module, a lot of people using Facebook as authentication front end for that. Applications, developers don't have to focus so much on the authentication piece of it, they're just using Facebook. As this trend emerges, this disassociation with owning all of it, having different service providers from a B2B, makes it very difficult to have confidence that the information that they're holding is secure because they're using so many different hooks. In addition to, from a security perspective, we have a lot of clients asking about cloud providers, different new emerging technologies and how they're all interoperable and working in a secure manner. Very tough to do. So it's a very complex environment, especially when you're looking at assessing the risk for the B2B side. The consumers, on the other hand, love it because they eat it up. They want the new things. LinkedIn just came out with a new app that allows you to tie in your stuff with your text messaging and phone calls. People are already downloading and using it. Probably would not see that level of movement that quickly in the B2B. So on the B2C side, more than likely channels is going to be the biggest issue for high-tech companies, securing the channels for PlayStation, Xbox, as we mentioned. But as you converge these two together, I think you really have to look at them as two separate markets and not try to use one security model for both. This is Ken Stasiak, State of Security. We'll see you next month.